message is transmitted at the request of the Maine Emergency Management Agency. A great amount of destruction has occurred throughout eastern Maine. At 2:13 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, a large earthquake registering a magnitude of 9.2 on the Richter scale occurred in the Canadian province of New Brunswick, near the city of Bathurst. Due to this, mass devastation has been reported throughout the majority of northern and eastern Maine, with numerous buildings collapsed. If your location is affected by damage from the earthquake, do not return to affected areas until given the all-clear by proper authorities. Please remain tuned to local media outlets for further information when it becomes available.
This message is being broadcasted by the Geological Survey in Canada. Extreme levels of destruction have occurred throughout eastern Canada as a massive earthquake with a magnitude of 9.2 has struck the province of New Brunswick. Similar levels of destruction are reported in the provinces of Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, and Quebec. Various buildings have collapsed in countless towns, and numerous fires are occurring within the affected areas. When experiencing an earthquake, drop, cover, and hold on to any sturdy piece of furniture. If outside, stay away from buildings, walls, and power poles. If your residential area was recently damaged by the earthquake, do not return until an all-clear is given by local authorities. Please expect aftershocks within the coming days and weeks. Stay tuned to any official news outlets and television stations for more information.
Ce message est diffusé par la Commission géologique du Canada. Des niveaux extrêmes de destruction ont eu lieu dans tout l'est du Canada, car un tremblement de terre massif de magnitude de 9,2 a frappé la province du Nouveau-Brunswick. Des niveaux de destruction similaires sont signalés dans les provinces de la Nouvelle-Écosse, de l'île du Prince-Édouard et du Québec. Divers bâtiments se sont effondrés dans d'innombrables villes, et de nombreux incendies se produisent dans les zones touchées. Lorsque vous vivez un tremblement de terre, laissez tomber, couvrez et maintenez-vous surtout meubles robustes. Si à l'extérieur, restez loin des bâtiments, des murs et des poteaux électriques. Si votre zone résidentielle a été récemment endommagée par le tremblement de terre, ne retournez pas avant qu'une zone claire soit donnée par les autorités locales. Veuillez vous attendre à des répliques dans les jours et semaines à venir. Restez à l'écoute de tous les organes de presse officiels et des stations de télévision pour plus d'informations.
Around mid to late September of 1999, an increase in seismic activity occurred in the Canadian provinces of New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island, following the violent earthquake on September 19th. This activity, strangely however, has a common epicenter, a now unlikely extinct supervolcano known as the Flat Landing Brook Formation. Recent seismic activity has confirmed our fears that this volcano has, in fact, been revived from the dead. With the revelation of the recent 9.2 magnitude earthquake that occurred near the city of Bathurst, we fear that it is only a matter of time before it erupts once again. The magnitude of this eruption will be unlike anything the Earth has ever seen in its 4.5 billion year history. This supervolcano will make other volcanoes like Yellowstone, Tabo, or even Toba seem like smoke screens, possibly releasing tens of thousands of cumulative volumes of tephra into the planet's atmosphere, covering most of the North American continent in blankets of ash. Once this supervolcano, if you can even call it that, erupts, and Earth will become uninhabitable to all forms of life, from humans to multicellular life, to the simplest organisms, all done in a slow, painful process that lasts for generations. We won't breathe air, but ash and smoke. All life will die sooner or later, for this is a mass extinction event. It is absolutely dreadful to say that we are about to enter the darkest and, most possibly, the final years for all life on Earth. There's no escaping this anymore. Goodbye.
The following message is transmitted at the request of the Federal Emergency Management Agency in coordination with the state governments within the warning area. This is an urgent regional activation of the emergency alert system for the New England area. Within the past few hours, the United States Geological Survey and the Geological Survey of Canada have discovered that landmass in the Canadian province of New Brunswick has been rising and moving at a dangerous and exponential rate. This is due to the now increased volcanic activity in what is now known as the Flatlanding Brook Formation. Additionally, tons of magma and lava have also been forming underneath the landmass, as well as some areas in New Brunswick, reaching as far close to the border towns near Maine, reporting bursting lava shooting up from the ground. Based on preliminary analysis, the supervolcano will erupt within the next 24 hours. An eruption of this volcano will most certainly cover anything within a 160-mile radius in heavy amounts of ash, as well as destroying anything within a 100-mile radius. All residents within the New England census area must evacuate immediately. Your life is in imminent danger. Contraflow traffic will be made for all freeway lanes on Interstate 95, 91, and 93 with southbound traffic only. This includes westbound traffic on Interstate 90 and 84 to maximize evacuation efficiency. Do not use telephone lines for any purpose, except for learning your mandatory evacuation route or any other emergency use. Once you know the mandatory evacuation route for your area, immediately evacuate through the route and proceed towards the state of New York, where designated shelters will be available for evacuees in New York City and Albany. Do not attempt to carry or recover any items, even if valuable, with the exception of essential items such as water, radio, a pack of food, and medicine, and only if you can do so safely. If you can't do so, officials will provide you with essentials. Repeating, due to an extremely dangerous supervolcano expected to erupt within the next 24 hours, all residents of the New England census area must evacuate immediately. Use your mandatory evacuation route specifically for your area and head to New York City or Albany. Please remain tuned for further information when it becomes available.
This is a CBS News Special Report. Tom Payne coming live from CBS headquarters in New York, continuing our live coverage of the Canadian volcano crisis. We first start off with the ongoing mass evacuation of the New England area as volcanic activity continues to increase exponentially within the newly discovered and revived Flatlanding Brook Formation supervolcano. Early in the morning, millions of people within New England were told by their state governments and FEMA to evacuate from the region. Major freeways such as the Interstate 95, 90, 91, 93, and 84 are in heavy gridlock despite contraflow being enabled in these states. Many areas in the state of Maine, particularly near the Canadian border, are still heavily destroyed from the 9.2 earthquake in New Brunswick a little over a week ago. Ever since then, emergency services are still in damage control to evacuate as many people as possible from a possible impending eruption of the volcano. The United States Geological Survey, as well as the Geological Survey of Canada, have stated that if this volcano were to erupt today, the eruption could be at least 25 times more powerful than the eruption of Mount Tambora in 1815. Millions of lives are now under threat as the eruption and what it will accomplish looms ever closer. Since this information was just now released to us, many states in the Northeast have seen shortages of essentials due to panic buying, as well as an increase in crime such as theft and other criminal damage. It is highly possible that mass hysteria will arise in other states within the coming hours. Stay with us as we continue to cover this historical event.
The following message is transmitted at the request of the Pittsburgh Police Department and the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency. Intense rioting and looting is occurring within the Pittsburgh area. Large numbers of commercial and pharmacy stores are being ransacked as people urgently stock up on supplies. Destruction of private property has been reported, as well as injuries and fatalities also being reported by the minute. Law enforcement is struggling to uphold law and order. As the result of growing civil unrest in large areas of the city and the risk of riots spreading to other areas of the state, martial law will be enforced beginning immediately until the riots have ended completely. A curfew will be implemented from 5 p.m. today to 7 a.m. tomorrow. All law-abiding citizens of Pittsburgh must stay indoors until the curfew is lifted and the situation is resolved. If you leave your residence during curfew hours, you will be detained by Pennsylvania National Guard troops. Should the riots continue to escalate well beyond control, the U.S. military will step in and use lethal force when necessary. To repeat, martial law will be enforced for the entire Pittsburgh area, and a curfew from 5 p.m. to 7 a.m. will be implemented. Please remain tuned for further information when it becomes available.
This is WIBC News Radio 93.1 FM, coming live from Indianapolis. The time is now 11:30 p.m., approximately 6 hours until what would be the literal end of the world. People all over the planet are in a state of mass hysteria, with various countries reporting panicked citizens taking out themselves and just doing anything to survive. Numerous towns and cities across America are in heavy disorder. Countless families have been torn apart by this crisis. It appears we have severely underestimated the magnitude a volcano like this can possibly cause. We hoped the eruption would be at similar levels as Yellowstone, but a recent report by the USGS and GSC has confirmed that we were wrong. The moment the supervolcano erupts, thousands, tens of thousands of magma, ash, and rock will be ejected far more than any eruptions we have seen in recent years, if not in human history, possibly more destructive than any recent supervolcanic eruptions combined, which include the Toba eruption that nearly ended humanity. News outlets suggest that the eruption is likely to be 25 times more powerful than the 1815 Mount Tambora eruption. Sorry everyone, I had to take a moment to get myself together, but I cannot emphasize how incredible this disaster will be once it erupts. Working with WIBC and bringing the latest news to the Indianapolis area for over a decade has been my honor and my privilege. Now it seems that our life has been cut short. Goodbye, everyone. May God help you. May God help us all.
continue to serve the Washington, D.C. area. If you are not in this local area, tune now into stations providing news and information for your area. You are listening to the emergency alert system serving the Washington, D.C. area. Do not use the telephone. The telephone line should be kept open for emergency use. The emergency alert system has been activated. Stand by. The President of the United States or a presidential representative will be addressing the nation on those stations shortly.
Set sail and discover the magic of Scotland's natural heritage.
Big bottle.
In a brand new series, the schooner Carrie explores the Western Isles. Every week she's joined by a fresh crew drawn from all walks of life. Each member with a personal reason for discovering the wildlife and human history of Scotland.
This is BBC Scotland. We are sorry for the abrupt interruption in our scheduled programming, but we have word that Her Majesty's government will soon deliver a critical emergency announcement via BBC News. Please remain calm and pay attention to your screen. Listen to the details and instructions that will follow shortly. This is not a test. surrounding brook formation has erupted dramatically. This eruption has already caused great destruction across the nations of Canada and the United States, with half of the continent being covered in volcanic ash and debris, spreading through most of Mexico, the Caribbean nations, Greenland, and recently as far as Iceland. However, it has now come to our attention that ash is reported to be falling in northern Scotland. It is absolutely crucial that you do not inhale this ash, as it will damage your lungs and in some cases, would result in death. This ash will likely spread across the entire British Isles and the rest of Europe. Additionally, many populated areas are still in mass disarray as numerous stores are still being looted and the military is struggling to maintain order. As a result of this unprecedented event, a state of emergency has been declared for the entirety of the United Kingdom. It is unknown when the order will be lifted. Please remain calm and civil, as panicking may deteriorate the situation further. All citizens must seek an underground shelter immediately. If you have to go outside, bring a mask that is effective from breathing ash. Make sure you have the necessary essentials with you, such as non-perishable food, water, medicines, an operating radio including spare batteries, clothing, a light source, such as a flashlight or a lantern, and important documents, enough to sustain you and your loved ones for at least 21 days. The royal family are beginning to relocate to a secure bunker, though the exact location is unknown. The Prime Minister will be making a live speech to the nation at 6 a.m. Please stay tuned to official sources for information. This has been the emergency broadcast. Thank you for your cooperation.
This message is being transmitted by the remains of the Canadian government. This is our final message to the Canadian people. The supervolcano, known as the Flat Landing Brook Formation, has destroyed our great nation. Most of our major cities have been devastated, as well as over 65% of the population being killed by the eruptions, a number that is rising at an exponential rate. The government has not been able to function normally. Unfortunately, there is no way to escape our inevitable demise. We have reached a dead end, and ultimately, the end of life on Earth. To anyone who is still alive listening, we thank you for the years of living and working for our once great nation, but our story ends here. Canada has collapsed. May God bless your heart and bless Canada.
Ce message est transmis par le reste du gouvernement canadien. C'est notre dernier message au peuple canadien. Le supervolcan, connu sous le nom de Flat Landing Brook Formation, a détruit notre grande nation. La plupart de nos grandes villes ont été dévastées, ainsi que plus de 65% de la population étant tuée par les éruptions, un chiffre qui augmente à un rythme exponentiel. Le gouvernement n'a pas pu fonctionner normalement. Malheureusement, il n'y a aucun moyen d'échapper à notre disparition inévitable. Nous avons atteint une impasse, et finalement, la fin de la vie sur Terre. À tous ceux qui sont encore en vie, nous vous remercions pour des années de vie et de travail pour notre nation autrefois grande, mais notre histoire se termine ici. Le Canada s'est effondré. Que Dieu bénisse votre cœur et bénisse le Canada.
This is a message to all of those who remain in the continental United States. As of today, the federal government has officially collapsed. This message will be the final action by the government. After this message ends, it will be up to the cities to provide for the people. While the full extent of the damage to the nation is far from over, as of right now, around 3/4 of the American people have passed due to ash exposure from the Flat Landing Brook Formation. Most of the governing body of the United States is also dead. We would like to thank all who have been cooperating with us for the past few weeks. You have been part of the around 200 years of American history, and your legacy will be immortal. Your death will not be in vain. Even in death, the American dream is always immortal. God bless you, and God bless America.